Hi guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Jess and this is Jess Make It, the DIY sewing channel where I thrift and sew my way to a new wardrobe. This week I am trying my hand at a thrift flip and I can't wait to show you. So let's get started. So last week I showed you guys my fabric thrift haul, which I love. And while I was there, I did pick up a couple of pieces of clothing, but not much. And one of the things I got was this gorgeous jacket. I adore it. I love everything about it, and it fit great. And then I brought it home and I made the mistake of trying to wash it. I did wash it in cold and I hung it to dry, but it still shrunk and now I can't even get the thing on. But I think I can still do something with it. The things that I love about this coat was the fabric. And then the liner as well, which is just absolutely beautiful. And I hated that it was hidden on the inside. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to attempt to make a vest. I don't have a vest pattern, but I do have a bodice pattern that fits. And I have a vest that I already own that I like. So I'm hoping I can combine the two and transform this into a vest, or, oh, what's the other word I'm thinking of? A waistcoat. That's it, a waistcoat. So, which would totally go with my new vintage style. Hopefully, if it works. I have no idea if it's going to work or not, because obviously I haven't started yet. So I think my first task is going to be ripping this beautiful jacket apart. So this is the coat. I can't even get it on to show you guys because the outer is made of wool and it shrunk. I should have looked at the label before I washed it, or else I wouldn't have stuck it in the wash, but I didn't. So I'm definitely going to keep these beautiful buttons. I don't know if they're going to go back on my waistcoat because they're a little bit larger than what I would like, but I'm definitely going to keep them for another project. Ooh, hello. Do you want some love? It was a little worn, so you can see some of the loops for the buttons are broken. And then you can tell what happened with the liner. It's all saggy now because the liner is made out of nylon and the outside was made out of wool. But I think I should be able to get enough out of it to be able to make a waistcoat. So the first thing I'm going to do is get the liner out and give it a good ironing, because what I'm hoping is that I can use the liner for the back of the waistcoat and the inside of the waistcoat. If I can't use it for the inside, I definitely want to use it for the outside, because I think that would be, or the outside back piece, because I think that would be absolutely gorgeous. And then use this fabric as the main front of the waistcoat. So I'm going to go sit down, put on a movie, and start ripping this apart and seeing what I have. Ow, ow, ow! Hi! And seeing what I have to work with. So we will see you guys in a bit. Okay, it is actually a few days later. I got discouraged. I started taking apart the coat, and I did not realize how many little pieces it is in. I am concerned that there's not going to be big enough pieces to be able to do this. So I haven't completely taken it apart yet because I'm wondering if I can leave some of the seams in so I have a bigger piece to work with, but then I don't know how that's going to affect the fit of my vest, and I don't even have a pattern figured out for my vest yet. I do have this one, and I like this first view here, and I'm thinking if I did extend it just a touch in the center so I could do buttons, I would like it a lot better. And the back pieces do look like they aren't too big. So I think what I'm going to do is, right now this is my choice for pattern. I think I'm going to actually trace it out and see how big the pieces are. See if I can lay them out in here. Maybe they'll fit without me having to take it apart. Maybe I'll have to take it apart because I might need that little bit of extra. I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing with this, and I'm starting to feel that I might have cut apart and ruined a perfectly good jacket. I mean, I'd already ruined it by washing it, so I guess it wasn't perfectly good anymore, but I don't know. I'm not super confident about this one at all. So I am going to take a break. I haven't even ironed the pieces yet. I did take apart all the sleeve. And then if I do this one, I don't know how to incorporate. I guess I could just use the lining as lining and not have it on the outside, or maybe, I don't know. So, but I know my next step, which is going to be tracing out the pieces for this and seeing if I can lay them out on what I have here. So I'm going to get to that. You've got two front pieces, two side pieces, and then the back piece. So really it's only 3 pattern pieces for this. And then I'm going to create another piece to go in here once I have it all on and I can test fit it before I put the bias strips on, to do buttonholes instead of the eyelets. Okay, so I have the front pieces together. It is quite a bit snug. Like, I don't think, maybe with the eyelets I could have done it up. And I just have the back pieces pinned. I am really liking the look of it now that it's all together, which is making me a bit more excited about it. But I still gotta add, I'm thinking maybe like 1.5 inches to each piece, maybe. And that'll overlap in the center so I can put buttons on. But so far so good. Actually, I like the color with my blouse that I'm wearing. I now have the outer main fabric all together and the liner all together. So the next step is to pin the outer to the liner, but this is where it gets a little weird because you do it wrong sides together, and now I'm looking at it and I don't think it's gonna fit. Oh, okay, I might need to do some finagling and maybe baste it by hand so that it fits, but I don't want to stretch it out too much either. Okay, darn it. Okay, I'm gonna play with this off camera and see what I can do, because that's frustrating. Okay, but I go over the whole thing with bias tape after. It just looks like it's this one area. Okay, I'm gonna play with it and see what I can do. So it is the next day, and this is where we left off yesterday. I did last night sit down and I did hand baste on my liner instead of just doing it by machine. It doesn't take very long and it gives you, I find it a bit more accurate. So all that I have left to do now is the binding. Now the pattern comes with binding, like a pattern piece for the binding, but I did not have enough of the liner to do that, and I didn't have anything in my stash that I liked, but I did find this pre-made binding that I think is going to work really well. You can kind of get a sneak peek of it there. So I am going to follow the instructions, and I think I start over in the armpit and go around, and then attach. No, this is the armpit. No, that's the front. Okay, I gotta figure this out before I start sewing. So I'm gonna go do that. And so it's just, I've gotta bind the whole thing because everything gets bound. And then I gotta make my buttonholes and get my buttons on. So I'm going to get to that. I have the binding done on one sleeve and then down the back. It is definitely not my best work. It kind of went a little wonky. I don't know what happened. Like it feels like it's almost got, the bias tape got twisted, and then like, I don't know if you guys can see that. It's really bad. There, yeah. But I don't think it's worth undoing and trying again. I'm still not in love with this project. It's definitely, well, we'll see. It has potential. I'm not willing to give up on it quite yet. I'm going to get the other sleeve done, and the back attached, and then we can do a test fit, because I've only really tested it with pins, and hopefully it fits. I still have the ability to add a bit more in the front if I need to, but it might look weird with even more seams up there. I don't know. But if it doesn't fit, I'm not going to wear it. So I'm just going to keep plugging away and keep going with the bias tape, and then I will come back and do a test fit with you guys. Okay, mistakes were made. I tried to whip through this quickly so I could go have some lunch and have something to show you before I went for lunch, and I sewed the front to the back. This one's fine. This oh my goodness, I was supposed to sew it like this. So now I have to seam rip all of this out, but I think I need lunch first. Oh, why is this pattern making me struggle so much? It seems like once a month I get something like this. Everything's going smooth and fine, and then you find this one thing you want to make, and the stars are not lining up. So I am going to, and I have to seam rip out it twice because I did start sewing the binding down. Okay, I'm gonna go have lunch and I will be back. Okay, it is actually the next day. I got everything all fixed, so now the back is the way the back is supposed to be. I can do a test fit. I was going to keep working last night, but then I ran out of thread. I have a funny feeling that this project just does not want to be made, but it will be, and we will finish it today. We are... Hey, voiceover Jessie here. I didn't realize when I put on the vest that I was covering up my microphone, and the sound was absolutely horrible. But as you can see here, it fits. Mistakes were made though, because it didn't actually fit. The shoulder seams were way too high, and I didn't realize it until the very end. But you guys will get to that, and you will see. All I have left to do at this point though is to finish putting on the bias tape around the edges and getting the buttons on. So I will hand you back over to non-voiceover Jessie. So a double fold would have another crease right in the center. In this case, it doesn't really matter which one I use because I'm going to do the crease myself. So what you want to do is you want to open up your bias tape and place it on the edge, on the inside of your garment, and pin it all along that edge. Then what you want to do is you're going to sew right in that crease line, all the way down. Bias tape is a great way to finish off your seams if you want to make them really nice and neat, because it encloses the whole seam allowance in fabric, keeping it nice and safe and cozy. Now that your bias tape is sewn on, you can flip it all the way around onto the front. Now you have a couple options here. I like to give it a light ironing once it's all flipped, and cut out some of the bulkier sections so that it sits nice. And then what you can do is you can either go and hand stitch it down, which would give you, like, you wouldn't see the stitches. You can use a whip stitch, or you can top stitch it down right along the edge, like what I did here. I am opting to just do a top stitch because this is supposed to be a quick project and not one that took me 4 days already. So I'm gonna go give this a quick iron, pin it down, and do my top stitch, and then I will do the same all the way around the collar. I'm not 100% sure how to do the corners. I'm gonna have to look that one up. So I have decided not to fiddle around with trying to turn this corner here with the bias tape. Instead, what I'm going to do is I am going to sew it down, but leave, let's say, about 3/8 of an inch, half an inch or so at the top and at the bottom. So when I flip it, I can tuck that down and sew it down. And that way it'll encase everything nice and neat inside. It probably isn't as neat as if I tried to do the turn, but it's how I'm going to do it. And then I have buttons, and that's it. It'll be done, finally. Okay, I'm gonna keep plugging away at it. We are so close to being done. I finished getting this binding on, and I just folded over the edge. I think it looks pretty good. And these are the buttons that I have picked to put on, and I think it really works. I do think I will use all 6. I kind of like the look of this long line of buttons. So I am just going to make all my buttonholes, sew on these buttons, and I will see you guys at the reveal. So there you have it. Another project done. I'm still not 100% sold on this one though. A lot of mistakes were made, but it was a learning experience for sure. So one of the things was when I added in this bit for the button, I shouldn't have added it to the front. I should have added it to the side piece, extending it from the back, because my princess seams aren't lining up properly with, they should be forward more. Also, I'm finding it a little snug under the arms, but at the same time, I have a lot of extra room up here, so like when I sit, it puffs up. And it's a lot of work to be able to undo all of the bias tape to be able to get to that seam. Whether I do it or not, I don't think so, but I liked the pattern and I liked the idea of it. Just the execution wasn't there. Will I do more thrift flips? Probably, but I did learn a lot from this one, even though I don't want to say it was a complete failure because I learned from it, but now I know next time that I do one to look more closely at the garment. I should have, if I would have seen all those seams, I probably wouldn't have cut up the jacket. But it is what it is. I do think that I will make this pattern again, but now I know what sort of adjustments I need to make to make it fit for me. Thank you guys so much for watching all the way to the end. If you haven't hit that subscribe button, please do, and hit the like button. And we will see you guys next week. Bye.